celebrating our connection with our pets. This is Animal Radio.
Almost didn't make it in time. It's Animal Radio. I'm Hal Abrams, Judy Francis, screening your calls. Not really screening your calls. I think we let anyone through. Isn't that the policy here?
We're non-selective.
Yeah. We're an equal opportunity offender here at Animal Radio. Dr. Debbie's answering your vet medical questions. Dog trainer Alan Cable, dog father Joey Villani, and animal communicator Joy Turner all here. Now, a lot of people that we speak to, at least, they travel the country. And many times they need vet care. And I always like to mention that Dr. Debbie is in Las Vegas, which is a perfect place for a lot of the truckers. It's kind of like a hub. It's always about location. Location, right?
It's a stopover, yeah.
I was the one that invented that location thing. At first, it was just location. And then for more emphasis, I decided to put that third location on that. A lot of people know that.
Wow, man. You're an innovator.
I really am. Stacy, what are you doing?
Well, it looks like turkeys are a problem in North Carolina, the kind that fly. Seriously, they're, migrating south in the winter, and it's been so warm in North Carolina that these turkeys are hanging around, and they're flying in the trees. And, turkeys aren't little, so when they decide to eliminate, they're all over the place. Ew. But I'll give you all the details, not that there's that much more, coming up on Animal Radio News.
Now, wait a second. I thought turkeys didn't fly. Wasn't that the whole premise behind the WKRP?
Turkey vulture she's talking about?
I think so.
Is it turkey vulture?
I believe so.
Okay.
Can you guys imagine what it would be like to be a bird that can't fly? I mean, how degrading that would be in the bird business. I mean, all the other birds are up there going, you can't fly. What kind of bird can't fly?
Coming up this hour on Animal Radio, we'll talk to the guy who's founded the Pet Food Stamps program. If you're on welfare or you get food stamps, you want to be listening up. They also need help. So if you're one of those blessed ones that has a little extra cash sitting in your pockets, you want to help some people less fortunate feed their animals, we'll have the details all on the way right here on Animal Radio. Let's see. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by my toe. How about Ginger? Hey, Ginger.
Hi. How are you?
Good. How are you doing? Where are you calling from today?
Frisco, Texas.
Frisco?
North South.
What's going on? How can we help you today? I got Alan to my right, Dr. Debbie to my left, the dog father Joey Villani, and animal communicator Joy Turner, all for you.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, well, we have this gorgeous dog that we adopted that we love a lot. He's a part wire-haired terrier, part something, dachshund, we think. And he's precious, but he's decided that he is now the big protector. We have a pack. We have 2 Chihuahuas on top of this. And so he thinks he's the big protector. So anytime anything moves outside or around our house, he goes into a barking rampage. And even when we come into the garage, when somebody comes home, he usually leads the pack in a barking rampage. So we've got neighbors all around us. So far, we haven't gotten any citations, but we feel as if someday we will, because it's just irritating, and he may do it while we're talking. But we have a dog board, so we let him, we let them go in and out when the weather's nice on their own free will. And so he'll take off and tear up and down the fence and just bark up a storm. So we've actually seen those barking collars, the ones that electrocute them when they bark, and we thought about getting one of those to use it as a teaching tool, but just looking for suggestions before we go that route.
Well, I'm so glad you called, because you're a very intelligent woman. I can tell just by hearing you speak. And the best teaching tool is you and your family. And like I always say, I'm not there to see what you're doing, if you're consistent with rules and structure, if your family is consistent with rules and structure, if you're setting boundaries. I can tell by what you're telling me that you're not. So this dog, basically, there's a couple of things here. They're very energetic dogs. The terriers are very, very energetic dogs. They need to be exercised. That's the first and foremost, most important thing. If they're not getting fulfilled, they're seeking excitement. So that dog's excitement is when you let him out, that's his excitement. That's his fulfillment. He's going to bark at everything that moves because it makes him feel good, makes him feel happy. It gets his energy out. That's his fulfillment. So you've got to change his fulfillment by taking an active part in his exercise. Just letting him out in the yard is not enough. You've got to walk that dog. Discipline, structure, rules, and you being in charge of your dogs and you being the leader always starts at the end of a leash. That is the first place you start, is walking your dog properly, making sure your dog is at your side. And it's very hard to teach a terrier to walk on a leash. You got to be patient, and you've got to be firm. So you've got to be willing to walk your dog on that leash. And then when you let the dog outside, you've got to immediately intercede. You've got to immediately step in when that behavior comes out. So the first step is to tire your dog out with exercise. The second step is to know, okay, I'm going to let my dog out now. I'm going to let my husband let the dog out. As soon as he makes a move to act like that, you herd him away from the fence. You take the space away. The quickest way to stop the barking, in other words, let's say your dog was a dog that jumped on the couch and barked out the window at everybody who walked by. The best thing to do is just take that space away. So as soon as your dog jumps up on the couch, makes his move to start barking at grandma walking by, you get up on the couch, you get right next to him, and you actually push him out of the way. You as the leader push him out of the way. You take that space away, and you make that space off limits. Okay? And as soon as you do that in the yard, you take the space away where the dog runs up to the fence and starts barking. You start taking that space away. You're telling your dog, hey, I'm the leader here. I'm in charge. These are the rules. And as soon as your dog starts to obey those rules and you're tiring him out with energy, with exercise, you're going to praise your dog for doing whatever it is you want him to do, for giving you the right behavior. So you use very, very strong leadership techniques to take control. And then when your dog's doing what you want, you give the dog praise. But the first step is to tire that dog out every day, either with a long walk or actively playing with that dog. You've got to tire him out. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And we used to walk him probably at least a mile every evening, but we actually have quit doing that. So, and his excitement level has gotten to be more so around here. So
yeah, and I know, you get tired, you come home from work. Think of it like this. Think of it like this. Your dog is just like your kids. They have needs. And if they don't get their needs satisfied, they're going to find ways to satisfy their needs themselves, which is what you don't want as a leader. You want to be in charge of taking care of your dog. And the first and foremost things that dogs need, besides being socialized, they need exercise. They need exercise to the point where they're tired. And then they need structure. They need rules and regulations. They need to know what's expected of them. And the whole family has to adhere to those rules and regulations. And then the last thing they need, and most people think it's the most important thing, but it's the least most important thing, is affection. You only give a dog affection when they're calm, laying there, mellow. You never give an excited dog affection, because what you're saying is, hey, I love this behavior. I love when you jump on me and hump my arm and bite me. It's wonderful. Good dog. So you don't want to give a dog like that affection. You want to correct and ignore. And once you start to exercise that dog and walk that dog, tire that dog out, and take the space away and teach the dog, no, I don't want you doing that, everything will work itself out. But it takes time, it takes patience, it takes consistency, it takes a strong leader, and you have to be committed, a strong, committed leader, and your family has to do the same thing.
Okay, let me ask you one question. So he shoots out the door like a bullet, runs out to the fence, and starts...
That's a problem. Okay, that's a problem. He shouldn't be allowed to shoot out the door like a bullet. The only one who shoots out the door is you. Firstly, your dog never enters the house first. He never leaves the house first. So you put him on a leash, and you teach him to sit. You step outside. Then you give him permission to go outside. And the trigger is when you open the door, he's already hemped up on energy. He's excited because that's his trigger. He knows he's going to charge the fence and bark. So you've got to step in and stop that whole procedure. You've got to step in and nip that in the bud.
So in other words,
go outside.
We'll shut the door and not use the dog door anymore to train.
Exactly. You do not use that dog door until the dog has been taught to be calm and mellow in the yard. Okay. Now, he's always going to bark a little bit at people going by. And that's because he's warning you, and that's because he's alerting you, and that's because he wants people to know that they're on his territory. Those are all normal reasons. But barking consistently, constantly, no, that's a dog telling you, hey, I'm not getting what I need. I'm not getting the exercise I need. I'm not being fulfilled in the house. So I'm going to go excite myself this way.
All right. So, okay, say we exercise him. We shut the door. We let him out to the backyard, which is a fenced yard. To go.
Now, listen, this is important. This is important. You have to go out first and take him out on a leash.
Okay.
Take him out on a leash. As soon as he makes the move to go kooky, you correct him with a jolt from the leash.
Okay.
But don't say anything. Don't say anything. Either correct him with a jolt on the leash or turn the opposite way and walk back towards the house at 90 miles an hour so he gets a jolt. Don't say anything. When he starts being calm and not barking at the fence, good dog.
Good.
Okay, set him up for success.
What you're saying. He's paying total attention to what you're saying. I've got you on speakerphone so my family can hear. And he is actually standing here watching. He wants to hear what's going on.
Give him a big old hug from all of us, and thanks for listening to Animal Radio. Good luck, Ginger.
I like that lady. She's got a brain, and I think that she will be successful, and I know it's frustrating for her.
Stacy, what are you doing?
Boy, Europe is really having some problem with horse meat. They're finding that there's some beef products that have been filled with horse meat, and it's escalating all across continental Europe. I'll tell you about it coming up on Animal Radio News.
Also on the show today, we're going to talk to a gentleman who has created pet food stamps. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, because
it's a program like people get food stamps, but this is food stamps for pets.
I totally get that. You don't even need to explain it to me. I understand because I know there's a lot of people that are down in their luck recently, and they're trying to put food on their table. It's hard to also put food on their animal's table or bowl.
And sometimes they give up their own food.
Why not? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So he'll be on the show in just a few minutes. Also, we'll be talking to a young lady who's she started a nonprofit organization to fund canine protection vests for police departments. You know, like bulletproof vests. I'm not even sure if they call it bulletproof anymore. We'll ask her in just a few minutes right here on Animal Radio.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
Hi, this is Jesse Tyler Ferguson from Modern Family. I'm on Animal Radio. Adopt a pet.
Portions of today's show are a repeat from an earlier broadcast.
With MedGuard Alert, you're never alone. You can connect with medical professionals anywhere, anytime. And now MedGuard is introducing our exclusive new Care Watch. If you need help quickly, use it from anywhere to contact medical professionals. No cell phone required. The Care Watch is not only a life-saving medical alert device, it's a revolutionary health monitoring system that checks your blood pressure, heart rate, oxygen saturation, and much more. And here's the best part. If you have Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. The Care Watch is only available through MedGuard Alert. Call us right now. We have monitoring programs starting as low as $1 a day. The call is free, activation is free, shipping is free, and no contract is required. Remember, with Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. Call us to get your Care Watch right now.
800-705-1198. 800-705-1198. 800-705-1198. That's 800-705-1198.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
Robert. Hey, Robert, where are you calling from today?
Chicago, Illinois.
Is it a windy city today?
No, it's not windy today. It's fine.
Beautiful place. Okay, well, I got the good doctor right here. What's going on?
Well, we have a dog and a miniature pincher and a cat. The dog is traveling with me. I'm a truck driver, so the whole week I'm going with the dog. And when I come back on the weekends, the cat is peeing in a dog's bed. And for
in
like
the dog's bed.
Last, I don't know, maybe month or something like that. We didn't have that problem before, but just last month that started to happen. And the cat she's sick. So I don't know what we could do.
Okay, so just so I'm clear, when you're away, the dog is with you, and the cat's fine. But when you return home with the dog, the cat is urinating in the dog's bed or your bed?
In the dog's bed.
In the dog's bed. And this only is when the dog is returned to the house?
Yes.
Oh, that sounds naughty. What a naughty kitty.
When we come back, dog is after being 5 days in the truck, he wants to play with my daughter. And he wants to play with the cat. Before I started to drive, doing the trucking, they were home all the time and they were playing, without the problems. They are together for like 4 or 5 years. So I started driving a year ago, and that trouble started last month with the cat. We were not sure what we can do. and why it's happening.
Right. Well, I think a lot of this is going to be driven out of marking territories and resources. And I laugh because such a naughty kitty, it just seems like such a blatant thing, like saying, this is mine. This is my spot. And, you may be back, but this is still my spot. So some of the things that I might ask you to do might be a little bit challenging. Now, when your dog is around, where does your cat eat?
Where does he eat?
Yeah, where's your cat's food bowl?
We have a cradle for a cat because she's scratching the furniture a little bit. We have a lot of furniture, so we put her for a night into her cradle, and that's where her food is. But the dog is eating the cat food sometimes also.
Okay. Yeah, they do that. They definitely do.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a couple things I would have you do. Now, one of the things that you can do when your dog is away is I'd like you to start feeding your cat inside the dog's bed. So actually put the food inside the bed in a bowl, not just laying in the bed, and to start to use this as a feeding site for your kitty. Now, that's going to do two things. It's going to make her less apt to want to urinate there in the future because, cats are tidy animals and we don't want to soil where the food is. Now, ideally, what I would ask you to do is to get two different beds and to provide one of the beds for the kitty and make that kind of her spot where she can have a very similar environment to the dog's bed and see if she will claim that and accept that as her own without marking on the dog spot. The other thing we can do is going to be a little bit more challenging is we can try to make the environment on the opposite end of the spectrum. We can make the environment around the dog's bed unappealing to the kitty. So sometimes we can do things like motion activated like compressed air canisters and turning plastic runners upside down around that area. Those kind of things will be useful to keep kitty away, but they may keep your dog away from that as well. So you have to kind of keep that in mind. The other thing that I'd really ask you to do is to pick up some kitty pheromone diffusers. Now, these are plug-in dispensers that don't give off smells like lilacs and vanilla, French vanilla. They're going to give off a scent hormone that you cannot detect, but cats can, and it can help kind of calm them. And when we're having some territorial or cat behavior issues, it's something we like to use in the area where the problem is occurring. So in the zone where the dog bed is. And then also making sure that the kitty's food is out of dog's reach because we don't want to create any other competitions. If kitty feels like she's got to claim other resources in the house, such as her food, sleeping sites, all of that kind of stuff, it might make some more behavior problems more likely. So make sure that food is elevated for kitty where the dog can't get to it. And then also give her, some other sites where she can kind of perch and look out and look down on her subjects, especially the dog in the household, because cats like to get up high and she'll feel more secure and she'll be less apt to need to feel to mark her territory. A lot of times it's all mental play. It's making them feel and recognize that they are the kings and queens of our house. And as long as everything is cool, or as long as they're the kings and queens, everything is cool. So those are some of the ways you can kind of help that happen.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
Dogs or cats, horse or emu, animals are people too.
It was only meant to be a safety drill at a zoo, but dozens of children were left in tears after an escaped animal drill went all wrong. The idea was to test the readiness of the staff at a Tokyo zoo. An employee dressed in an orangutan costume took part in a well-intentioned practice drill based on a scenario of a strong wind blowing a tree into an enclosure, providing a way out for an orangutan. The overacting actor jumped out of the cage and began running around the zoo, scattering the crowds while being chased by employees. For his grand finale, the orangutan actor grabbed an employee and was promptly shot with a fake tranquilizer gun. He dramatically fell to the ground, and that's when all the kids started crying, thinking that their happy trip to the zoo had turned into the day they witnessed an orangutan being killed. It took some time, but the staff was finally able to convince everyone that it was all an act. Although it'll probably be a performance many of those kids will never forget. I'm Britt Savage for Animal Radio.
Animals are people too. Animal Radio.
This is
Animal Radio.
Do your dogs go nuts when they hear fireworks or during a bad thunderstorm? It's not their fault. They have sensitive ears. You love your dog, and so do we. That's why we developed a perfect solution for your loved pets by eliminating the harmful noise. It's called Doggy Hush, a unique waterproof set of headphones that go over your dog's ears. They're so comfortable, your dog won't even know they're wearing them. And when this happens, your dog will feel and stay safe and stress-free. Go to doggyhush.com. Enter the promo code we're about to give you for a free special gift. Again, buy Doggy Hush for your dog today and protect your dog's ears from fireworks, thunderstorms, and a lot more harmful noises. Go to doggyhush.com and enter this promo code, Radio4. Radio and the number 4. Go to doggyhush.com right now and enter the promo code Radio4. Again, that's promo code Radio4.
This is an Animal Radio News Update.
I'm Stacy Cohen for Animal Radio. Well, if you're like me, you probably go on the web all the time to do shopping. And one thing that's great about the web is you can do comparison shopping. And if you have pets, that could be pretty tough. There's a dog owner who's got an entrepreneurial bent, and he started a website aimed at making it easier for pet lovers to find the right products at the right price. Doug, that's the name of the site. It's a new price comparison site, and it aims to provide pet product information from multiple online retailers in a clear, easily understandable format, according to David Key. He's the site's founder. Mr. Key is a former hedge fund analyst, and he said he created Doug out of his own frustration. So his site attempts to sort the products in a way like a search on Doug, for instance, for Advantix, that's flea and tick stuff. It'll return a menu of options based on the pet's weight. When you click on the proper weight, like 11 to 20 pounds, an appropriate list of vendors and prices appear. Doug also includes any coupons next to the item. That way, users can receive the discount when they buy the item rather than having to scour the web for potentially available coupon codes. Doug doesn't conduct any sales itself. Rather, once you find the best price, you select the vendor and then you're taken to that website to complete the sale. A new program to offer pet food stamps is getting a big response from New Mexicans, not Mexicans coming into the country, but people from New Mexico. The nonprofit Pet Food Stamps is not a government program, but it works just like human food stamps. Families who qualify for state assistance could qualify for assistance in feeding their pets as well. Local animal shelters are hoping the assistance will ease the overpopulation problems. We distribute about 3,000 pounds of pet food each week in Albuquerque, said Dawn Glass. She's the marketing director at Animal Humane, New Mexico. Animal Humane's emergency food bank feeds about 400 families every month in Albuquerque, but the help is only for dire situations. There's no long-term help. To qualify, families have to prove that they're receiving state assistance. If approved, they'll get a monthly allotment to spend at national retailer Pet Food Direct. Applications can be filled out on the Pet Food Stamps website. Because the organization is nonprofit, they also need money of monetary donations while they search for federal funds and grants. So that'd be a good thing to help out. One hotel guest's decision to skip the European resort's pool and take a dip in the 3,000-gallon lobby fish tank has become a YouTube hit. The man's giggling friends used their cell phones to capture this impromptu swim. The more than $200 a night four-star Radisson Blu Hotel in the Channel Islands. A spokeswoman for the hotel said it was a dangerous stunt for the man and the fish, although none of the tank's regular inhabitants were harmed. Sounds like a great way to take a dip, I guess. I don't know, clean up. But when you get out, guess what you smell like? Fish. I'm Stacy Cohen. Get more animal breaking news at animalradio.com.
This has been an Animal Radio News Update. Get more at animalradio.com.
It's Animal Radio, a whole different animal. And I was looking in the paper this morning, and I saw one of these police dogs, these canine dogs, that help out the cops. It's so cool. They're trained to go in usually ahead of the cops if there's some kind of trouble. And I've always wondered, are these animals protected?
I know. What happens to them? They don't have guns.
They have no guns.
No.
And you don't really want to train a dog to use a gun because that could be, that's a whole mess, really. You don't want to get involved with. Maybe a stun gun, though.
There you go.
There's a suggestion. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Okay.
But there's a nonprofit group in Massachusetts. It's called Vested Interest. Vested Interest in Canines, and they're providing protective vests for police dogs. And we have from Vested Interest in Canines, Sandy Marcal. She is the president. Hi, Sandy. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Very good. So tell me about this organization, what you do, and what you've done.
Well, we started off as a nonprofit back in 2009. It was something that I had done previously as a volunteer for 13 years, and I decided after that period it was time to become a nonprofit because it would open so many doors and opportunities for us to be able to help more dogs. So it became a nonprofit in 2009, and we focused on initially helping dogs in Massachusetts. And then as time went on, we realized there were needs for dogs everywhere and decided to expand our mission just about a year later. So we've been helping dogs across the country now.
When you say helping dogs, what is it that you're doing?
We're raising money for bullet and stab protective vests for the law enforcement dogs. Whether it's narcotics, tracking, patrol dogs, any breed of dogs that's involved in law enforcement work that has a need that the department's budget doesn't have to provide to them.
So these are like bulletproof vests that the cops wear, except they're for dogs.
We actually call them bullet and stab protective vests because nothing is ever bulletproof.
Okay.
And what does something like this cost for a dog?
They're just over $1,000.
Oh,
and,
wow.
And they last for 5 years. So in most dogs' career, we anticipate that they're going to need 2 of those vests.
Why is it you don't think that the police department automatically suit their canines with vests? I mean, I would have thought they would have done that.
Yeah.
Well, in most cases, they just don't have the budget to do it. And in some cases, the departments actually raise their own money for the canine programs, such as to get the dog and to outfit the cruiser with the necessary caging and alarm system, and sometimes they raise the funding for the dog's veterinary care, food, grooming, of that nature. So sometimes people don't realize that that's the case.
Now, can these vests be reused if the dog doesn't, the career doesn't last 5 years? Can they be used by other dogs?
We do. We will offer to recycle them. Sometimes they'll send them back to us if a dog retires early, and we'll cross-check. Each vest is sized per dog, so we'll cross-check our sizing to see if there's any dog on a waiting list that might be a good fit to recycle the vest. So, yes, we do.
How many dogs are there, really, canines that are helping cops?
There's got to be thousands throughout the United States, thousands.
Wow.
Yeah, I heard about that shooting, what was it, in Florida, of the canine? And then one in Minnesota, too.
Right. There was a shooting in Florida of a retired police dog, and then the police dog in Minnesota was stabbed to death.
Wow.
That's horrible. Okay, so how many have you managed to get for different police departments?
So far, we're about 200.
And you probably need a lot of help to do that. I mean, $1,000 per vest.
That's not cheap.
No, that's not cheap.
Animals are people too.
Yeah, they are.
Why do they only last 5 years? Well, what happens?
Well, the ballistic material that's inside the vest breaks down after a certain period of time, so the manufacturer puts a warranty on them, just the same as with the police officer, same thing.
How can we help out?
Well, we have a campaign coming up through Groupon Grassroots, and it's coming up March 14th through the 20th, and we would love to make people aware of this campaign because there are still thousands of dogs out there that need help, and we've actually been recruiting canines across the country to come on board with this campaign. And we previously did this campaign with Groupon in January. It was a regional campaign, and people were very receptive to it, so much so that they donated over $55,000 in a 2-week period, which allowed us to outfit 53 dogs with vests in 23 states.
Wow.
That is amazing. That is really good work.
So it really is. It was just incredible. We never expected in a million years for the response that we got, but we've been working with the grassroots team, and they have been incredible about helping us and continuing to help us, so we think it's a wonderful partnership.
You're also seeking volunteers, right?
We are. We're seeking volunteers to help. We do a lot of networking through social media, so people have the opportunity to help out on their own time. The campaign is a week long, but we've been working with volunteers for the last 3 weeks that are helping to recruit canines across the country, to network with other businesses online that will help us share this link when it comes out. So we're hopeful that we would have the opportunity to double this campaign, which is also a pet animal-related campaign through Groupon. So we think it's a really good fit, and it's nationwide, which will go to over 20 million people.
What's the website?
Well, they can find it through our regular website, and they can get to our Facebook, Twitter page through there. So it's www.v as in Victory, I as in Indiana, K as in Kitchen, the number 9, S as in Samantha.org. And we'd love to have people check it out and join us. The Groupon campaign is very affordable. It's actually a $10 donation. So that tells you how many people across the country would like to see these dogs safe.
You got to love that. I'll put all that information over at the website at animalradio.com, too. You're doing good work, Sandy. Keep it up, will you?
Well, we thank you for giving us great opportunity to keep spreading the word.
We have a lot of listeners that care, and hopefully we'll find some more vests for them. Not for the listeners, for the dogs. The listeners are already in straight
chat. We appreciate you taking the time to help spread our message.
Have a great day, Sandy. We appreciate it. Boy, she's doing some good work. I love it to hear people doing stuff like that.
You know, my dad was a cop, and I remember him bringing home 2 retired police dogs.
Really?
Yeah.
Did they wear vests?
No, they didn't wear vests. This was years ago. You know, I don't even think back then, 40-something years ago that they had vests for us.
40-something years ago.
Wow, but we're not going to give out anybody's age.
20-some years ago.
Yeah, let's just say 10 years ago.
Yeah, when the dinosaurs were roaming.
Hey.
All the lines are lit up. What is it with that? I don't know what's going on today.
We're so busy, golly.
Yeah.
We got some hate mail. Somebody very upset at the Animals Are People 2 jingle. Now, we just dealt with this last week, yes? By the end of the show, we'll have a new jingle. That's all on the way right here. Joey's going to tell you how to groom a cat if you're so inclined to do that.
Well, everybody knows that the economy's tough and things are tight for people. Very difficult sometimes for people to even feed their dogs and cats. But New Mexico has created a new food stamp program for animals.
And is it true that we will have the founder of that food stamp program on the show today?
Yes, we are, because I want to find out a little bit more about it.
Oh, that's good to know.
Thousands of authors across the country have written books and published them with Page Publishing. If you've written a book, they can help you through the process, cut through the confusion of the publishing world to make it easy for you. If they decide to publish your book, your work ends, theirs begins. From copy editing and proofing to typesetting and book cover art. Plus, get your book printed, distributed, and sold on Amazon, Apple Books, Barnes & Noble, and in bookstores across the country. They even help promote your book. Biography, self-help, mystery, novels, sci-fi, or even a children's book. No matter what genre, Page Publishing can bring your book to life. And don't forget to ask about audiobooks. We do all of this for you. Call today for your free writer's guide packed with tips, tricks, and templates to help you finish what you started.
800-215-6815. 800-215-6815. 800-215-6815. That's 800-215-6815.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Here's Hal and Judy.
Hi, Kendra.
Hi, how are you guys?
Good. Where are you calling from today?
Las Vegas, Nevada.
Beautiful Las Vegas, the home of Dr. Debbie. What's going on?
I have a little blind deaf dog. I used to own my own rescue in Simi Valley, where I'm from. And I picked him up out in Kern County. When he's about a year and a half, we're guessing Queensland Heeler Jack Russell mix. Okay. And he's only got 20% sight in one eye, so he's legally blind, and he is completely 100% deaf. And I was curious he's very well behaved. He doesn't bolt out the doors. He's very good with other animals, but I was curious how I teach him how to sit, stay, lay down, try and get him some basic obedience maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And a lot of rewarding is going to be the big thing with these. So there are you can use either the general sign language hand signals or some general ones, like the thumbs up for a good dog, come down. And you have to just be consistent. Use the same hand command as you're training. And because we are hearing and sight impaired, you want to make sure that when you're doing initial training that you do keep him on a kind of a close leash so that you can redirect without having to, chase him down or to try to gather his attention. But really, it's a matter of picking your hand signals and rewarding. So if he does something good and he does your behavior, then you give him the hand signal and you give a little food reward. It's very easy to teach things like, the come, just based off those visual commands alone. For around the house, a lot of it is kind of learning different sights. For a pet that has both, vision and hearing problems, I try to structure different areas of the home with sense. Now, dogs' sense of smell is far superb to ours, but there are some ways that you can help them make sure you can find the doggy door or where he goes outside by scent marking that. So you might use like lavender oil by the back door as a way to kind of help facilitate.
You know what? I want to just butt in real quick. There was a website that I came across recently, and it's called Tracers, and it's Tracerz, and they have scent markers for blind dogs, and they're stickers that you can put around that have scents. So
there you go.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Yeah, he's really good. Like I said, he's really well behaved for the most part, but it's also because I've turned into his seeing eye dog, where he follows me everywhere. He doesn't really go anywhere to get in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So he's obedience-wise, he never bolts out the door. He never. We have no issues with him holding his potty until we go outside and stuff like that. It was just like basic commands because he's very intelligent. He's gotten to the point where if I close the door, now mind you, it's taken him almost a year to do it, but I'll close the door and we have those long handles, and he's figured out how to open it.
Oh,
so that he can come into where I'm at.
Okay.
So I just wanted to get some basic obedience into him, so I could take him out in public and tell him to sit and stay.
And basically all those same commands in the way you train a hearing dog. The down command. You kind of have to show them that if they don't already know that behavior and that prompting for that behavior. But then once you do the hand signal, you reward him for it, and he'll figure that out, really quickly. As far as now, one thing you may need, because he is a bit visually impaired, there is a vibrational collar can be a helpful thing as well. Now, I'm not talking about a shock collar where you're going to be zapping him, but it's a good way to get a dog's attention when they're a bit out of your immediate zone, where he may not be able to locate you quite as well. So that's another thing you can look into. And I know there's a lot of different ones out there. You can just Google it and find some of those different companies out there.
Oh, cool. We'll have to get him one of those. I didn't even know they made those. And another thing, he has an issue where he gets scared really easily because he can't see very well and he can't hear.
Sure.
And he pees. And no one has to be near him. Nothing has to move. It's just like if a shadow's not where it normally is, or if, like, for example, we have like this little entry where we hang our jackets, and sometimes we'll just throw our jackets over the little shelf, and that throws him completely off, like completely. It's he can't see it well enough to know exactly what it is, and he pees just everywhere.
Well, some of that is making him feel comfortable in his environment, and while he may follow you and be dependent on you, that may make him help maneuver, but he does have to develop self-sufficiency. So always being dependent on a human, even if they're visual dogs and they get around, if a dog can't be out of our presence, then they're going to have more challenges coping with things that are outside the norm or that can frighten them in their environment. And there's going to be a lot that can spook him, because he may not see those things coming. The shadows may be jumping out from left and right at him. So you're going to have to make sure that you do work on rewarding good behavior and calm behavior. So if he's, following you around the house consistently, we don't necessarily want to reward just that behavior. We want to reward him for being able to find his pillow, lying down, and being quiet and calm when he's 10 feet away from you. And that's the difference. So it isn't always about come to me and sit and down. We want to be able to say, okay, here's your dog pillow. Can you sit down, lay, and be a good boy? And then we'll reward you for that. Yeah. And sometimes, even check around. A lot of trainers, even here locally in Las Vegas, will have some experience training the deaf dogs. And that's a great way to kind of get a little bit of a professional consultation to help you along those ways.
We have 4 children, and they're young children, and he's perfect with them. I mean, I bet you being deaf helps with that because you can't hear him scream, but he's great with the kids. We have a Great Dane and a Mastiff, and he's great with them. It's just little things like his basic obedience. I had no idea how to teach him to stay or how to sit and stuff like that, and that's really helpful, especially if, we have company. Like I said, he follows me everywhere, so if I'm in the kitchen or we have company, I don't necessarily want him at my feet. And I don't want to put him away and make him, because he has a crate, and we try not to lock his crate unless we're going to be gone, because I don't want him to feel like it's not his home. I was always taught not to lock a dog up when you have company because it's their home. You don't want them to think company's a bad thing.
Well, that'll depend on the situation, but he may feel cozier in an enclosed place when things are a little uncertain. So I don't want to say don't provide that, because that can actually be a good retreat for him. Dogs are den animals, so they dig their private space, just like me.
Hey, Kendra, thanks for your call today. Kendra is a seeing eye person.
Phew.
Wow.
This is
Animal Radio, baby.
If you're between the ages of 55 and 63, disabled and unable to work, you may be eligible for disability benefits from Social Security. The average is about $1,300 a month. It's a benefit you are entitled to from working. Use it to pay your normal living expenses. This free call only takes 10 minutes, and it could provide you the necessary financial relief you need. Plus, our services cost you nothing until you receive your benefit check. Save yourself time and aggravation. We know how to get the job done for you as quickly as possible. So if you are physically or mentally disabled and can't return to work, and you're between the ages of 55 and 63, learn if you qualify for your $1,300 a month check. Make this free call right now to the Social Security Disability Helpline.
800-380-4429. 800-380-4429. 800-380-4429. That's 800-380-4429.
Celebrating the connection with our pets. This is Animal Radio, featuring your dream team, veterinarian Dr. Debbie White and groomer Joey Villani. And here are your hosts, Hal Abrams and Judy Francis.
Coming up this hour on Animal Radio, we'll talk to the guy who's founded the Pet Food Stamps program. If you're on welfare or you'd get food stamps, you'll want to be listening up. Also this hour, we're going to answer that nasty email about the Animals Are People Too radio jingle that we use. So you want to stick around for that right here. Which one are we going to?
Going to line 2.
And on line 2 we have John. John is calling from New Orleans. How you doing? Mardi Gras over yet over there?
We're breaking up very badly.
Yeah, what's going on with your animal?
Well, he's peeing in the house. He's from the shelter. I adopted him about 3 months ago, and they started him on a heartworm program, and I can't exercise him due to the medication. Mm-hmm. And he's got a lot of energy. I don't know if that's connected with it, but, I mean, he will just let it go. I just finished cleaning up an enormous big pool of it.
Is this a cat or a dog?
This is a dog. He's a German Shepherd. He's a smart animal.
Okay. Well, and just to clarify, so he's being treated for heartworm disease, which means that he's being treated by the heavy-duty melarsoline, which helps to kill the adult worms. And when that happens, pets have to be confined strictly because activity, exercise, running, playing can actually cause those dying worms to lodge and cause blockages. And that can actually cause a fatal event. So that's why that activity restriction is so imperative in a pet being treated for heartworm disease. So it can be really tough because they get anxious, they get built up pent up energy. So for some dogs, if it's appropriate and it's cleared with a veterinarian, I will use some tranquilizers and sedatives to kind of help calm them at certain times of the day. But beside that, your problem with urinating in the house. It would not typically be a symptom related to the heartworm treatment, but it's always a great idea to have that urine sample checked with your veterinarian to make sure there's not something going on, because if there's not, then we're going to focus more on getting kind of back to the core basics with training. An anxious or kind of freaked out pet who has all this energy that can't go outside may be more prone to eliminating in the house, either through urine marking or just soiling in the house. So in those instances, we really have to do supervised outdoor trips to go to the potty area, and you have to go back and treat him almost like he's a puppy. Where you praise, take him out on a leash, give him loads of affection and the occasional treat even for doing that outside. And supervision really is key in these situations. So if you're missing the urine accidents in the house, you definitely can't punish him on those things. And the more you can supervise and get him outside and give that positive reinforcement for the good place that he goes, that's going to go the furthest here. If this is more of a behavioral type problem.
Oh, okay. Do you think that medication can cause their hair to fall out?
Not typically, but as far as if you're in an area where you have a lot of heartworm, you very likely have other types of parasitic diseases. So fleas would definitely be big.
He doesn't have anything. No, he doesn't have any other diseases.
Okay. Well,
he's very healthy.
Okay. Well, I mean, as far as, with the hair loss, I guess I can't say a whole lot about that. It's hard to see it over the television. I don't think it's related to your pet's medication. Now, there certainly can also be pets that turn to themselves if they have cooped up anxiety, and they can actually self-traumatize, and that can cause hair loss. They'll actually have sores, and that would be something typically you would be observing and then potentially seeing him doing that. So if you're not witnessing that, it might be less likely for that.
He's not doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you one last question, Doctor. He's got a lot of gas. I don't know what to do for him.
Okay, yeah. And is he a pretty, you said he's a pretty high-strung fella. Does he do a lot of panting, a lot of running around the house?
Yes.
He does? Okay. Because one common cause of excess gas is excess ingestion of air. And this is one reason why a lot of the bulldogs and the squishy-faced dogs have tremendous gas, is because they're always kind of going swallowing air. So if a dog is running around panting a lot and they're really anxious, they may be inherently swallowing more air. So this is where maybe a sedative or an anti-anxiety medicine might help that regard as well. Now, if not, and we still have a lot of gas, there's a couple things you can do. One thing is dietary altering. So sometimes one type of diet or one brand might settle with a pet's digestive system better than another. Just like people, certain diets may be better or not so good for them, depending on the fiber content in the ingredients. So that might be one thing to try, is to switch to another good premium quality food and do that, doing that gradually. And in a pinch, there are some occasional dogs I give Beano to, but that's usually the uncommon pet that I've already tried everything else.
What was the last thing you said?
Trying Beano.
Oh, that's what I told my wife we were going to do.
Yeah. Hey, but I'd rather see you try a different diet first, so.
Okay.
I was talking to my wife about that too, and she wanted it for me. She was that was a whole different story. Hey, I appreciate your call today. Good luck with that, John. Thanks for calling from New Orleans today, where I believe Mardi Gras is finally ended there. Boy, what does that last? 6 months? It's a long-ass holiday.
It's perpetual.
It is. Listen, a big show today. We got some hate mail. Actually, it's not really hate mail. Yeah, maybe it is hate mail. Somebody very upset at the Animals Are People Too jingle. That's all on the way right here. Joey's going to tell you how to groom a cat if you're so inclined to do that.
Well, everybody knows that the economy's tough and things are tight for people. It's very difficult sometimes for people to even feed their dogs and cats. But New Mexico has created a new food stamp program for animals.
And is it true that we will have the founder of that food stamp program on the show today?
Yes, we are, because I want to find out a little bit more about it.
Dogs or cats, horse or emu, animals are people too.
In Cincinnati, a lucky 7-year-old girl won an 8-pound lobster in a local supermarket raffle, but the lobster was really the lucky one. Miranda Hutchins was determined to win Bubba the lobster so she could set him free. Easier said than done. After winning, Miranda's family called and emailed zoos and aquariums, but none of them wanted Bubba. Finally, Mike Britson from the Columbus Zoo contacted a diver in Maine who agreed to find Bubba a home in the Atlantic. Miranda's family spent $280 to send Bubba to Maine in a foam container. Bubba should be safe from the dinner plate in Maine waters, where lobsters his size are illegal to catch and keep. I'm Britt Savage for Animal Radio.
Animals are people too. Animal Radio.
This is
Animal Radio. Okay, I just can't believe how much reaction we are getting to the jingle, Animals Are People Too jingle this morning.
Animals are people
You might hear it once, twice during the show, and it is making not only the phones ring, but the email
What is that
going
all
crazy.
All
It's
of a
very
sudden.
nostalgic sounding.
Well, forget the sound. It's what it's saying that's upsetting people. I know that, Joey, you're hearing about it, too. We got an email today from, can I say her name? Sure, she put it in the email, right not. Hi, my name is Jillian McCallum, and I reside in San Luis Obispo, California.
Just down the road.
Just down the road. She says, I was listening to the show Sunday, February 17th, and heard the jingle, Animals Are People Too. As a pet owner, that jingle seemed to play right into the animal rights mantra. Might I suggest changing it to Animals and Their People Too? Unless you meant to imply that animals are people. And in that case, I'll stop listening to the show and supporting your local sponsors. That's how animate this young lady is.
She really doesn't like it.
She would stop listening to the show because
of that.
of this jingle.
Animals are people too.
Play it again. Play it again.
Well, no, I got to tell you, I'm going to fix this up. And I mentioned this on a call 2 weeks back that I would fix it up. And
Dangerous Dan.
Dangerous Dan called, and he said he was very upset about that, too. So I'm hoping this version will work for you.
Animals are
Family.
too.
Does that work for you?
How about people, animals?
I like that.
Yeah, there you go.
Thanks for your email. Email us at yourvoice@animalradio.com. We'd love to get those emails.
Just crazy. Crazy.
You know, I have a theory.
Pick your battles, people.
What's your theory?
Right. Well, my theory is whenever somebody gets upset over something like this is not the core problem. The core problem, if you really look at people and analyze people, the core problem is love. Now, when somebody is happy and they're getting, what would you call it, Joey, nookie, when they're having fun with their significant other, or they're loved and they're getting busy, they're happy and they don't come up with all this stuff, this ludicrous stuff to complain about everything because they're happy. But when somebody, like you go to a bar, there's a guy in the bar, he's leaning against the wall, he looks like a mass murderer, he's got this look on his face, and he's mad because no women will talk to him, but no women will talk to him because he looks like that, because he's got that face on. But the guy who's smiling and acting open and welcoming and warming and funny, he's got all the ladies wanting to talk to him, and he's the happy guy. He doesn't have time to complain about jingles, but the guy against the wall, he's like, well, who am I going to ruin? What day am I going to ruin today? Because I'm miserable. I want everybody else to be miserable.
Hey, do you know how I look at it? If they're complaining about jingles, they're listening.
That is absolutely correct. And Jillian, was it Jillian or Gillian? I think it's Jillian. Alan was not inferring that you're a lonely, bitter woman or anything like that.
I wasn't.
I kind of thought
Send
he
your
was.
emails to Alan at...
How about
Animals are
jingle singers?
too.
By the end of the show, we'll have a new jingle.
Animals are
Cardassians
too.
I want to have what you're drinking.
Well, Deb, it's just called life. Well, you're perky enough as it is. You don't need anything.
Oh, I've got my Diet Coke right here. That's all I need.
Yeah, that's all you need. I think you change that jingle every week and make it something else that is people, but
Animals are
garbage collectors
too.
We're taking your suggestions for what animals should be.
Animals are
Animals.
too. Animals are
love star bitches.
too.
Animal communicator Joy Turner just got a call from a dog who doesn't like the jingle either. He doesn't want to be associated with people.
Wow.
We're out of control.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
Hi, this is Elaine Boozler on Animal Radio. Spay and neuter your pets and some of your exes.
If you turned 65 recently like me, it's important you find a Medicare Advantage plan that gives you the coverage you're looking for. But finding one can be difficult. The best thing I did, and I suggest you do the same, is call a licensed insurance agent and let them walk you through your Medicare Advantage plan options. There are so many benefits you have access to, so make the call now and let the representatives explain everything to you. Our licensed insurance agents can offer you a variety of Medicare Advantage plans. Plus, the call is free, the information is free, and there's no obligation to enroll. We're here to make it easy for you to select a Medicare Advantage plan that may work for your needs. Finding a Medicare Advantage plan can be easy if you do what I did. Make a quick call right now to learn more. Thank you.
800-880-3141. 800-880-3141. 800-880-3141. That's 800-880-3141.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
Let's go to Jason. Hey, Jason, how are you doing today?
All right, how you doing?
Good. Where are you calling from?
Hamburg, Pennsylvania.
Probably listening on WEEU, and I appreciate it.
That's correct.
Well, I understand you have a dog issue, and I have Alan Cable. He can fix any vexing dog issues you have. Promise.
Okay. I have a Lab Rottweiler mix. And to give you our schedule, we both me and my wife work 7 o'clock in the morning. Dogs go out. They go to the bathroom. They come in. They're in their room until I come home at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I take them out. They go potty. They come in. They eat their dinner in between 3 and 8 o'clock at night. Me and my wife take them out. They go to the bathroom. They do their business. They both go. I have 2 dogs anyway, 2 labs, but the 3-year-old lab is the one I'm talking about. They both do their business. Come back in, and every night she still goes to the bathroom on the floor. It's like a every night thing. I don't know how to stop her from doing it.
Where does she go to the bathroom?
On the floor.
I know. Where? The same spot every time, or a different spot, or carpet, hardwood?
Well, we had her up with my son up in his room for a little bit, and yes, it would be in the same spot every time, on the steps. And then just last night, we figured, I just put new carpet in my son's room, so I didn't want her to stay up there, so I let her stay down with me and my wife and my other dog, and she still wound up going then in my daughter's room on the floor.
Yeah.
So it's I want to put new carpet in there, but I'm afraid to because she's going to keep going to the bathroom on the floor.
When you find it the next day, do you get mad at her?
No, I can't because how can I get mad at her? I wasn't there when she did it.
Okay, very simple. First of all, how many hours is it between the time you go to bed and wake up that she gets to go again? How many total hours does she, is she not supposed to?
We go to bed. We take them out at 9 o'clock, and then my wife is taking them back out at 7 in the morning again. So
okay. Do you take their water away? Do you leave water out during the night, or do you take it away?
No water, no food.
Okay. And so you let her have free run of the house too. She can go wherever she wants.
Just on the second floor.
Just on the second floor.
We have a baby gate across the top of the steps. She's not allowed to go downstairs. She just stays upstairs with me and the wife.
First thing is, have you taken her to the vet to make sure nothing's wrong?
I have not.
Okay. I would start there, and if there's nothing wrong, and there probably isn't, the second thing you're going to do, it's a very simple thing. It's going to make you uncomfortable for a couple of weeks, but it will work very well. When this happens, you kind of got to retrain your dog, repotty train your dog. So first thing you're going to do is get a good enzyme cleaner at the pet food store that's designed to take the scent totally out, and you're going to clean all the areas where the dog is gone that you know about so that she's not tempted to go back to those areas. The second thing you're going to do is confine her to a crate, a kennel, or a room, maybe your room, so that you can hear, and she wakes you up if there's activity, and she can let you know she has to go. But the best thing, put her in a crate overnight to start with. And what you're going to do is you're going to wake up, let's say you go to bed at 9, you're going to wake up at about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and you're going to let her out. And every night, you're going to do that for about 4 days. And then every night after that, you're going to lengthen it by about 15, maybe a half hour. So for a week at 2 o'clock in the morning, you're going to get up, you're going to let her out, you're going to go back to bed, put her in a crate. And then you're going to do it at 2:30, and then you're going to do it at 3 o'clock, and slowly you're going to work your way up to the time you normally would let her go out, and that should pretty much solve your problem.
Okay.
You're going to teach her slowly when it's okay for her to go out, where it's okay for her to go out. So when you take her out late at night, no talking. Put her on the leash. You get out there. You go to the bathroom. Go to the bathroom, or whatever it is you say, pee, whatever it is, whatever words you use. Go to the bathroom, right. All business. As soon as she goes and is finished going, good dog, give her a treat, go back in the house, put her in her crate, go to bed.
You said it would be okay to just keep her in the room instead of crating her?
Well, for some reason you seem to be adverse to the crate, but the crate is a wonderful the crate is a wonderful thing. It really is. There's nothing harmful or bad about a crate. Dogs actually love crates, and that's why they like to lay under coffee tables and they like to go in small confined spaces because it reminds them of their den. So a crate is actually a good thing. If you want to, you can leash her up to your bed so that she's right there with you. But I would use a crate until you can trust her. What were you going to say, Deb?
Oh, I was just going to say, Ellen, I'm glad you mentioned to see the vet to make sure there's not anything going on urinary-wise, because actually female dogs can develop some incontinence problems that can present themselves usually when they're sleeping and lying down. So talking to your vet, having that checked out would be definitely an important step before you start, getting really into a vigorous training program. And the crate, I endorse that as well, because if she were having accidents in the crate, I've got more argument for that situation that you got a health problem there.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. And you should always, with any kind of problem with bathroom and going to the bathroom and urinating and stuff like that, always take your dog to the vet, because, it could be a physical problem that she has.
Right.
That's where you start.
Number 2, she's not peeing.
Oh, she's pooing.
Yes, it's not urine. And
you know what?
The thing about it is every time that we take her out, she goes. It's not like we take her out and she messes around or anything. She goes out, she does her business, and we come in. So it's not like she's not going.
So she does number 2 when you take her out at night?
Every night, every time. Between 8 and 9 o'clock at night on schedule. We keep a tight schedule. We both work. We have schedules.
Well,
and
do me a favor, because obviously she's not getting it all out. So stay out there with her a little bit longer. Stay out there a little. Allow her to sniff around. Let her take her time. And let her go more than once, because I'll bet you she probably has to. She's probably conditioned to go, and then you go in the house. If you stay out there a little bit longer with her, no talking, just stand there, let her sniff around, be patient, and she goes again, then tell her what a good dog she is. I suspect that will help as well. But you've got to take control of the situation so that you can teach her and train her, retrain, rehousebreak her again. And the best way to do that is with a crate, or to have her confined to a space that's very close to you, so that you can hear her rustle when she has to go. If she goes and you don't wake up, you need to use a crate, buddy, because it's not mean. Trust me, she'll love it in there. You know why? Because you're always happy to see her when you open the door, and so they associate it with good things.
Okay.
I would love to go on vacation, but I don't want to leave our Charlie behind.
I agree. I heard that the magazine Fido Friendly lists places where you can stay with your pet. They also offer reviews, so you have an idea about pet policy, to include any restrictions, fees, and what pet amenities to expect.
That's, dare I say, awesome. What are we waiting for?
I'm way ahead of you. I just logged on to FidoFriendly.com and found a 4-star resort, Hilton Santa Fe Resort and Spa at Buffalo Thunder in New Mexico.
Charlie agrees. When do we leave?
As soon as you can pack your bags. It's off to adventure with Charlie, thanks to Fido Friendly Magazine. To find your next family adventure that includes your furry family friend, log on to FidoFriendly.com.
This is an Animal Radio News Update.
I'm Stacy Cohen for Animal Radio. There's a huge statue, and it's called Bad Dog, and it's turning out to be pretty good publicity for the Orange County Museum of Art. The 28-foot-tall piece of art from Richard Jackson depicts a dog who's lifting one of his legs, and then he leaves a little yellow paint stain on the side of the building. Museum spokeswoman Kirsten Schmidt told the Orange County Register almost all of the reaction to the dog has been pretty positive, although some people are not so happy that the dog is anatomically correct. Jackson, meanwhile, explains that his intention was never to shock or offend anybody, but he says, sometimes people's reaction to a particular piece of art often vary, and it usually depends on whether you're going home from church or maybe from a strip club when you see it. It's funny. I've never heard it explained that way. I always thought that art was in the eye of the beholder. That's the line I always heard. Never heard the strip club one. Surprise. Residents in Shelby, North Carolina are pretty upset. There are these vultures that are flocking to their town. According to ABC News, the birds typically pass through the town on their winter migration south, but this year, they decided to stay because of the mild winter. Kristen Duran from the North Carolina Cooperative Extension says the state's agriculture service says the state is just not getting cold enough to push them along. So there's about 150 turkey vultures that have been calling this town home. The birds have been unsettling to many residents, to say the least, but Joan Schmutz says she doesn't really mind them. She says every morning the vultures land in her yard and they throw out their wings and they catch the sun. While she enjoys watching the birds, though, she says they've been doing a job on her yard. Well, this next story is pretty disturbing. This was first centered on Britain and Ireland, this scandal over beef products filled with horse meat, and it's escalating across continental Europe. after Nestle, one of the world's best-known food companies, said it was removing pasta meals from store shelves in Italy and Spain. There are growing calls for more oversight of processed food. The involvement of Nestle is significant in a fast-moving situation that's forcing Europeans to question the content of their meals. Before the announcement, the horse meat crisis had already spread, with perhaps a dozen countries caught up in product recalls. Nestle said it was confident that products in the American market were unaffected. Nestle USA does not use meat sourced from Europe, a company statement said. Additionally, USDA meat inspectors are in all processing plants and also have responsibility to oversee any type of imported meat. We also have requested and received confirmation from all of our suppliers that they do not provide Nestle USA with any meat from the affected countries and companies. You know, there's no slaughterhouses operating in the U.S. and no horse meat is imported for human consumption, making the chances that Americans are unintentionally eating horse meat fairly remote, according to a USDA spokesperson. Nonetheless, very disturbing. I'm Stacey Cohen. Get more animal breaking news at animalradio.com.
This has been an Animal Radio News Update. Get more at animalradio.com.
I'm Beth Stern on Animal Radio and Adopt from your local shelter.
Portions of today's show are a repeat from an earlier broadcast.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now. Download the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
It's Animal Radio. Not your father's pet talk. Remember, you can get Animal Radio on the Animal Radio app for your iPhone or Android. Hear it anytime you want and actually ask your questions right from the app. We're also on Facebook and, of course, over at animalradio.com and live right now in your ears. We've been talking this morning about pet food stamps because, you know, sometimes people really can't afford their pet's food. And sometimes they'll even give up their own food so that their pet will... We hear these stories so that their pet can eat.
Yeah, they don't eat. They give all their food to their animals.
Marc Okon, and I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, Marc. Is that Okon?
It is, Hal, and thanks for having me.
You are the founder and the executive director of the Pet Food Stamps Program, and this is a nonprofit program. Where are you located?
We're located in Queens, New York.
Queens, New York. Okay. So is this national?
It is national, correct.
Okay. What do you guys do?
Well, basically what we do is we send out pet food to people in this country, U.S. citizens, who are on food stamps or public assistance and are simply having a rough time feeding their pets.
Now, is it true that on the regular food stamps that people get, they cannot spend it on pet food?
That is correct. And I actually learned that a couple of years ago when a lady friend of mine was on food stamps having a rough time, had a cat, and was telling me that she would have to feed her cat before her sometimes. And I said, but you're on food stamps? And she said, yeah, but you're not allowed to buy pet food with it.
I didn't
and
know
that's how the idea developed. The germ of the idea, and it stayed with me. I pursued it and was able to finally get the project off the ground about 2 weeks ago.
It's so fresh. It's a little baby is what it is.
It's brand new. I mean, the germ of the idea has been around for a couple of years, but the due diligence, the research, and all the things that come together to bring a project of this nature to fruition took some time, and it actually opened up exactly 2 weeks ago tonight.
Well, I think you're doing good work because many pet owners, sometimes if they're not as attached to their pets as I am, they'll give up their pets because they can't afford them any longer, and then they end up in the shelters, and that ultimately they may be euthanized simply because they're homeless. But there are over 50 million Americans who currently receive food stamps, so I think what you're doing is absolutely awesome.
Now, do you have to be on food stamps in order to apply for this?
No, people at or below the poverty level are also able to apply, whether you're on some type of welfare or you are in a very low income bracket but haven't received your actual food stamps yet.
Cool.
There are ways to receive pet food as well in that category.
Now, I have a lot of patients who are on, therapeutic diets for medical problems. Are there any kind of distinctions on what kind of food, brands of food that you will cover?
There are no RX, no medicines with this program yet, and I stress yet. It is specifically food.
Now, what if I have anything, another animal besides a cat or dog? I have a bird or a rabbit or a ferret. Do you provide food for those animals as well?
Well, initially the program was going to focus on cats and dogs, but as you can imagine, the amount of letters, and they're in the thousands in just the first couple of days, talking about parrots, an awful lot of parrots. I have turtles myself, people with reptiles and ferrets and guinea pigs. So Pet Food Direct does carry those products, and we did expand to offer those as well.
Now, the most important thing, obviously, if you're not on welfare or you don't have a low income, maybe you could help out with this. You're applying for tax-deductible status right now. Is that what's happening?
That is correct. It's now pending.
Okay, it is pending.
We do have our tax ID number, though.
Okay, and if you do get accepted, I believe it's retroactive. Any donations will be tax deductible for that. Very good work. We'll put all the information over at animalradio.com. Mark, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you both, Hal and Judy, and continue the great work. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye now. Ladies and gentlemen, the dog father.
You know, I get a lot of people call me about cat issues, and I figured let's talk about it here. A woman asked me, and she wanted to know how come every time she has her cat groomed, particularly a haircut where it's cut down real short, why the cat goes and hides. And cats are very sensitive, I want everyone to know. They're not like dogs. I mean, dogs can also be shy, but cats know when something is completely different. So when you bald the cat and you make a cat naked, what ends up happening is the cat knows that there's something wrong. They don't know they're bald. They don't know they're naked. They just know something's not right. So what they do is they hide because that's their way of their defense mechanism. But I just want a lot of people to know and understand, because people think that lion cuts, they look great and that sort of thing, but you're doing something very unnatural to a cat that's not something that most of them like. Some of them you may think that they do, but honestly, they would rather have their nice coat, or I should say fur, because dogs have coats, cats have fur. They would like to have their fur. The bottom line is this: make sure your cat is not entangle-free. It's going to make a big difference as far as how the cat feels, their attitude, everything about it. Keep it natural. So the most important thing that you can do is brush and comb. And if your cat doesn't like a brush, just use the comb. If you combed your cat twice a week, and I'm talking about long, short, medium hair, whatever, twice a week, you'll never have problems. Your cat will never get dirty, because what happens is when a cat gets matted up, they don't like to clean themselves anymore because they can't. The process, it becomes a little bit, how could I say it? It becomes bogus. They're like, hey, what is this here that I'm licking on? It's a big old knot. It's a big old mat. They can't get down to their skin. So what they do is they start neglecting their own grooming. So the process is, if you keep them tangle-free, you're going to have a cat that's going to look better. It's going to feel better. The less dander that they'll get in most cases, because they're actually treating themselves. Cats routinely don't need to be bathed. You can just use a spray bottle of water, a rag, a towel, anything, spray them, wipe them off. That's as much cleaning as they ever need if they're not doing it themselves. I mean, some cats at times will need a bath, but that's because we didn't follow the process of the grooming, which is brushing and combing. So really important. Keep your cat brushed, tangle, or comb tangle-free. They'll keep themselves clean. If you have to cut them down for whatever reason, don't do it more than once. Do it once. Learn, understand this is a natural process, and you know what? Move on from there, and you'll have a very, very happy kitty.
We started brushing our cats real young, so they enjoy it, and they want to be brushed.
It's bonding time.
Well, it is.
That's the whole thing. If you start young, you're not going to have problems. It's when all of a sudden, you have a 4-year-old cat, and you decide, okay, let's start it now. And in most cases, they don't like it in most cases. They're not like dogs. You can't reason with a cat. A cat is like a wife. A wife is the boss of the house.
Boy.
The cat is the boss in the house. And until you understand that, you're not going to have a happy relationship, okay? So that goes like with your cat as well. So remember that.
There you go, Joey Villani. Email him at joey@animalradio.com and check out his new line of odor and spot removers with his big old mug on the front.
And remember, a cat is like a wife, so why get a wife?
Hey.
So it is definitely a lot cheaper.
Oh.
Do you have an old car sitting around your house? Maybe you're even paying insurance on it. Well, if you don't need that car anymore, donate it, running or not, to the United Breast Cancer Foundation. They will even come and pick it up for free and give you a receipt for a tax donation. Breast cancer screening could save the life of someone you love. And right now, they need your help. They want to save more lives through early detection by offering women free or low-cost breast screening exams. And that's what your old car helps to pay for. So get your phone out and call right now to donate your car to the United Breast Cancer Foundation. Remember, they will come pick it up for free and give you a tax donation receipt. Call right now.
800-793-4880. 800-793-4880. 800-793-4880. That's 800-793-4880.
Hey folks, this is Jackson Galaxy. You're listening to Animal Radio. Please do everyone a favor, spay or neuter your animals today.
Don't forget, you can get your fix of Animal Radio anytime you want with the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android. It's made possible by Fear Free, helping your pets live their happiest, healthiest, fullest lives at home, at the vet, and everywhere in between. Visit them at fearfree.com to find care near you.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now with the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
We have Eric calling from Reading, I assume listening on WEEU. Hey, Eric.
Hi, the voice of Berks County.
It is. It's a great station. We've been on that station for almost a decade.
Really?
A lot of people love their animals over there in Reading. You notice that?
My dog is my dog. I'm having problems with a little bit of potty training and some nasty habits. It's a fox terrier, Jack Russell mix.
Very high energy dog.
Yes, it is.
What are you doing about that? What do you do about your high energy dog? How do you exercise your high energy dog?
I take her for walks. It's hard for me to walk sometimes. And I had her for a walk in the field once, and a hawk almost got her. An osprey wanted to get her in the worst way. I scared the osprey away.
Yeah. So what's your problem? What's going on?
Well, she just wants to play all the time. I take her out to go potty. She just wants to run around and chase me and make me chase her and stuff, and then she won't go.
Yeah, it all starts with the leash. I'm glad you walk her. How many times a day do you walk her?
Well, it's hard for me to walk, so it's usually just once a day. Twice a day. I go for about a quarter-mile walk or so.
Does she like to fetch? Does she like to just chase balls and bring them back or anything like that?
Yes, that's an obsession with her, chasing balls and bringing them back to me. Sometimes she won't bring it back to me. Well, I can't throw it if you don't bring it back to me. And she looks at me and barks.
You know what, Eric? One of the hardest things about doing this show is that I can't be there with you to see what you're doing, to see how you're speaking to your dog, to see how much you're talking to your dog. So to make it very simple, when you're going to the bathroom, when you're taking your dog to the bathroom and when you're playing, you've got to make two distinct, separate events in your dog's mind. Your dog has to know in his mind that it's time to go to the bathroom and it's not playtime. But the first most important thing with especially a terrier, a small breed like that, is to tire that dog out every day and make sure that dog gets a lot of exercise. Because they are so high energy, they've got to be fulfilled. And when they're not finding fulfillment, when they're not getting their energy out, they're going to act all crazy all the time. So that's the best way to know your dog's not getting enough energy. So maybe, I don't know how much it costs. Maybe there's somebody in your neighborhood like Judy, a dog walker, that can walk your dog every day for you. And maybe you can play with your dog to the point where your dog is actually panting and tired and wants to lay down and not play. So you would actually sit.
Possibility for her. She just wants to keep going and going. In the middle of the night, she'll start getting her squeaky toys and putting them in my face.
Again, that is because the dog is not getting enough exercise during the day. Yeah. So if your dog's getting enough exercise, then your dog will be a lot more mellow and lay around a little bit. Even terriers will just lay around a little bit. So you got to find a way to tire your dog out. And then when you take your dog to the bathroom, you don't want to talk, Eric. You don't want to talk at all. You just want to put your dog on the leash. You bring your dog outside. You kind of just stand there. You look off into the distance. You wait for your dog to start sniffing around. Once they start sniffing around, that's their signal that they're actually getting ready to go to the bathroom. And when your dog starts to do that and give you that signal, you pick a set of words, like maybe go to the bathroom, and you just say it over and over. Don't use the words hurry up, because the words hurry up, you might use that around people. You might say, hey, hurry up, we're going to the restaurant. Hurry up, we're going to the sports, so we're going to the game. So you don't want to use words that you would use all the time. Maybe go to the bathroom would be the best words. And so when your dog starts sniffing around, you just stand there and go pee, go pee, go pee, and you say it 3 times, stop, and then do it again. Go pee, go pee, go pee. Then when your dog does start go to the bathroom, just be silent. After your dog has gone to the bathroom, you say, good dog, and you give your dog a treat. And then it's playtime or go back in the house time. And you do it consistently.
What about the bad problem? She used to ride my arm for some strange reason. I'd be laying on the sofa watching TV. She'd come and start humping my arm. What do you think? No.
That's good. Yeah, just go, no. And give her a little poke in the neck with your fingers. Anything you don't like. When she's doing what you do like, you go, good dog. But try not to talk so much. Try not to have long conversations with her. Try to be very, very disciplined with the words you use and how often you talk to your dog till she starts to calm down, and then you can start talking to her and stuff.
Listen, and one time I patted her on the back. I used to rough pat her, on the back. She said, "I love you." She barked, "Well, I love you." And she licked me. Yeah, it was a wonderful thing.
You ever see that dog on the internet that actually was going, "Oh, row, row"?
Here it is. I have it right here.
Well, there you go, Eric. I mean, you love Border Collies, so maybe you should get another dog, a Border Collie. Another dog would tire your terrier out, too. They could just run around like maniacs together.
Yeah, that's all about it. I go to the local pet store, and I kind of fall in love with the Pomeranians. I hold them, and they all kiss and bite my mustache and lick me all over in the face, and the puppies love me. I got a kind of attraction with dogs. I can go up to any strange dog and put my arm down, they sniff it, and I scratch them behind the ear, and they give me the old lick and jump in my lap almost.
You're a puppy magnet. That's what you are, Eric. Hey, thanks for your call today. That, my friends, is another Animal Radio Show. Thank you for joining us today. Don't forget you can visit us all week long over at our website at animalradio.com. And of course, the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android. Make your smartphone even smarter with the Animal Radio app and download that right now. You can ask your questions right from the app. And of course, Dr. Debbie's books, Yorkshire Terriers, Shih Tzus, Pugs, Mini Schnauzers, How to Be Your Dog's Best Friend, all available at Amazon and linked to from animalradio.com. Have yourself a great week.
Goodbye.
Bye.
This is Animal Radio Network.